Good morning, everybody. Day 25 of the suffering. And it is Thursday. Yesterday was leg day. So I am really tired this morning. Always the most tired after a leg day. I feel really tired, really exhausted. Really hard to wake up this morning and get out of bed. But here we are yet again, 5:15, another morning, another day on the Stairmaster. Okay. Get this cardio in and I'll see you guys in the kitchen. We are back in the kitchen once again for some more delicious egg whites and oatmeal. Favorite part of the day. Well, not favorite part of the day, but favorite meal of the day is definitely my oatmeal. That is what I enjoy the most, is the oatmeal. Of everything I eat, I think, I don't know if it's the texture or if it's the flavor. To be honest, it's probably both. Brown rice isn't so bad, especially when you coat it with olive oil. Once you coat the brown rice with olive oil and it cooks and swells up and gets a little bit fluffy, it's actually really enjoyable. It's better when you put seasoning like salt or lemon pepper or sriracha or whatever, but I don't do that right now, so just the brown rice with olive oil isn't so bad. It's way better than the dried chicken, that's for sure. This morning I was a little tired getting up out of bed, but that's pretty normal for me after leg day. I'm pretty tired the morning after legs. Feel definitely exhausted, like drained, but I know that it's just because of the actual leg night. This morning I did 25 minutes of cardio. I did 10 on level 2, and then I did 15 minutes on level 3, picking up the pace a little bit. Did lightly start sweating, very lightly sweated, which is good. I don't want to be drenched, but at the same time, I want to know that I'm working hard enough to start causing my body to heat up enough to start to perspire, and that lets me know that I'm actually doing something, because my body temperature is going up. My body output has increased to the point where I'm causing my temperature to raise. Now, I know in the winter, or people that live in colder climates, especially in the morning time, that have a garage gym or do cardio outside and when it's colder out, I know it's a little bit harder, and you can't really gauge like off of your body sweat and temperature, because it's like, I never sweat, I'm cold. Well, I would go off of your breathing then, like I talked about previously. And even if you don't do that, just get up and do what you feel is ultimately best for you and what you need. I like the Stairmaster. I've always enjoyed the Stairmaster. It's low impact. I love running. Can't run no more because of my knee. So the Stairmaster is the way to go. Even when I was younger, I enjoyed doing the Stairmaster, but I like running on the pavement more than I like doing stationary machines. But that high impact, I can't handle it no more. My knee just won't let me. And I could go to the doctor and see what they say, but I know what they're going to say. They're going to be like, oh, you need surgery. You hyperextended your knee whenever you were 14 years old and built up a lot of scar tissue, and then you re-injured it. And I don't know if I hyperextended it or tweaked it back in October. I don't know what I did. All I know is it hurt real bad. And they might be like, yeah, you got even more scar tissue in there and it has to be removed, and we need to go in there and we need to scrape or whatever. But I am not going to get surgery. I'm going to avoid getting any type of surgery on my joints, knees, elbows, hips, back, as long as I can possibly put it off for. I don't like surgery. Not that I'm scared of being put under or think it's a bad thing. I think surgery is an amazing thing for people who need it. It's incredible that they can do that. But I always hear that even after surgery, things just are never the same, and it never really like gets back to feeling how it did before. Now, if you're in pain and you're hurting and you're going through excruciating movements in life, like trying to walk or stand or sit or pick stuff up, and it's just agonizingly painful, yeah, I would go have surgery, because of I don't want to be in a massive amount of pain either. But with what's going on with me, I just feel like if I did go to the doctor, they're going to try to talk me into surgery, just like whenever I was 14, they tried talking my mom into having surgery. We didn't have the money or insurance. So there was no option for surgery, and I'm glad that we didn't because my knee healed up and I lived a fairly normal life for my whole teenage years and my young 20s and adulthood. And I've never had issues with my knee, not major issues, a little bit of inflammation or a little bit of, swelling here and there, nothing serious over the last 20 years. Well, 20 because I'm 37. It happened when I was 14. But ever since I heard it back in October, it's a different story. Now it kind of bugs me off and on a little bit more than it used to. But like I said, I just got to be mindful of it, pay attention to it, be cautious, and make sure I don't do anything that's going to cause pain. Like last night, I felt my hamstring on my right side getting real tight, and I felt a lot of overly, like a lot of pulling sensation inside the hamstring going up into the hip. And so I got off and I stretched my hips and stretched my hamstrings and did some mobility work in the middle of my workout, and it helped alleviate that tightness in my hip. Well, when I got done working out, I kneeled down. I was doing something in the house and I kneeled down on that knee. And when I kneeled down on that knee, pain shot from my knee into my hamstring, up into my hip, like an electrical shooting pain, like lightning. It wasn't like crippling, but it definitely made me move very quickly off of my knee. And I was like, well, that was weird. And it didn't bother me again until I kneeled back down because I forgot. And it happened again. I was like, oh man. So then I slowly kneeled down on my knee and started slowly applying pressure on it just to see how far or how much pressure it would take to get my knee, that pain shoot up it. And it wasn't very much pressure. So it's like, okay, is it when I put pressure on my knee, it's pushing my femur into my hip joint. My hip joint is pushing my pelvis, which is pushing on the sciatic, which is causing the pain, or is it originating, there's a nerve in my knee, and that pain is shooting up into my hip. So I pushed on my tibialis. My tibialis hurt, which is the muscle in front of the shin. So I took my massage gun and I worked on my tibialis and worked on all around my knee and the knee joint. I had my wife massage out my hamstring, my IT band, my glute medius, my glute maximus, and my lower back, like a small of the back lumbar area. Did all that, and then got out of well, after she massaged me, I got out of bed and I did some stretching and some hip mobility work, and then I felt fine. I didn't try to put any more weight back on my knee, but I felt fine. It wasn't bothering me anymore. So that's a good thing. And then when I got up this morning, I started off doing the back extension because that was really helped out my back last time it was doing this, but to a much more severe level. And I did the back extension today. I did one set of 20. I basically went down, pulled myself into the machine, stretched my back as far and as hard as I could, and then I went up into a rep. I held it at the top for about 2-3 seconds, came down slowly, grabbed the bar on the machine, pulled myself into it as deep as I could, held it down there for like 3-4 seconds, and then I came back up, and I did this for about 20 reps. And by the time I got done, I gotta tell you, my back feels great. I didn't have any issue in my hip or my back or anything like that. So hopefully that stretching is all I needed. And if that's the case, then I might actually start doing that every single morning because it don't take but 2-3 minutes to do that. So I might start doing that every single morning just to try to hopefully alleviate some of my back issues by simply doing a couple sets a day of back extensions to stretch the lower back and help alleviate a lot of that pain, because I don't think this is a permanent issue. I just think that my body is really tight from all the cardio, like my hip adductors, hip adductors, my calves, my hamstrings, my quads, my flexors. Everything is just tight, really, really tight because I'm doing cardio so much. So I don't think that this is a permanent issue. I honestly think that this is temporary, and I just have to figure out how to do some corrective stretching to allow the muscles to relax and elongate and stop being so tight and pulling on everything else. So it's not a permanent thing that I'm going to deal with. I just got to figure out how I can go about getting it corrected while I'm doing this much cardio and this much working out. Because once this routine's done and I back off on the cardio, I know everything in here is going to calm down, because doing Stairmaster, you're using a lot of hip flexors and adductors and everything else. Okay, I'm going to cut this off so I can eat. I'll see you guys at 9. I think I found a stretch that helps my sciatic. I was doing it this morning, and now both of my hips feel like they're incredibly sore, like I just got done working them out super aggressively. Even though I didn't work them out, I just did some stretches. So, kind of like yoga, where like you lean into it, you take a deep breath. As you exhale, you sink deeper into it. You take a deep breath, you exhale, you sink deeper into it. Did about 10 to 12 breaths aside. And man, like all like in here on the front of my hips just feel incredibly sore. Like I just got done lifting something extremely heavy with them. And I guess that's just because how tight they were. I do some yoga for my lower back and certain stretches and positions to kind of help with my lower back issues. But I think I'm going to have to start getting a little bit deeper into yoga and try to find a time to carve out of my week, maybe on Saturday or Sunday. Maybe I'll start incorporating an actual yoga routine for maybe like 20 minutes, 40 minutes a week on Saturdays or Sundays of yoga for stretching and trying to get the lower back and the hips mobile and more mobility in them. Because the easier it is to move around and the more limber you are, just the better and more enjoyable life is. But also, the easier it is to move around in the gym and to lift stuff. But this could also help save me some pain in my back and my knee. I mean, I've always liked yoga. I've always enjoyed doing it. I don't always have time, and I don't always make time to do it. But I need to start being a little bit more consistent with trying to do it, just because it's going to help me out in the long run. But every little thing I can do to keep me healthy and be able to keep me going forward in what I'm doing is always a huge, huge win. 12 o'clock. So you guys know what that means. It's supplement time and more time for chicken and rice. I found that if I don't heat my chicken up, if I leave my chicken cold straight out of the fridge, it's actually easier to eat versus heating it up, because when you reheat it, it actually dries it out more. So when I'm home, I don't heat my chicken up. I just eat it cold right out of the fridge. It's actually a lot easier to chew and a lot easier to get down. But when I'm at work, I'm not going to bring a separate Tupperware for my rice and green beans and then a separate one for my chicken. Let's put it all together so it gets heated up at work, which does make it a little bit harder to eat, but I just take smaller bites. I don't take my normal size bites like I would normally do whenever I'm actually eating something for pleasure. I take very small bites, and the smaller bites I take, the easier it is to chew and tear apart and get down. So a lot of times I'll sit there and I'll just take the chicken that's kind of cubed up, and I'll find out which way the muscle fibers are running, and I'll just eat it like that. A little bit at a time. Just get it down a little bit at a time. It's not the most enjoyable diet, but it is definitely working. We are back in the gym for another chest and back night. Our routine is going to stay the same as far as it goes for what exercises we're doing and what order we're doing them in. The only difference is we're changing the sets. We're going to do a total of 6 sets instead of 12 sets. I would do 4 sets of everything I do. Instead, we're going to drop it down. So I'm going to do 2 warm-ups, 1 set, and then I'm going to move to close grips. I'm going to do 1 warm-up, 1 set, and then from there I'm going to machine row and I'm doing 1 set, and that's it. Since my back's already going to be warmed up from this, I don't need a whole lot of warm-ups to do similar movements. Chest, we're going to be doing all cables, and it's going to be the same basic principle for chest as we did for this. Now, because I only have half a pec, my chest, I might have to do a warm-up set, or 2 warm-ups, and then a set. I'm going to have to fill it out to see how it goes, because all that scar tissue in there, some days it feels better than others, and I need more warm-ups. So this is something that I'm going to gauge by feel. Just because I'm saying I'm going to do it this way doesn't mean it's going to be done this way every night. If I feel like my joints are a little achy or a little stiff and I need a few extra sets to warm up, I'm going to do a few extra sets to warm up. If the grease is hot and we're cooking and everything's clicking and everything feels great, there's no need to do additional warm-ups. There's no need at all. So that's the movement I'm going in tonight. Again, I'm not doing drop sets, rest pause, supersets, negatives, anything like that. It's going to be
2 nice controlled sets. And then the last one is going to be a pull, a hold, squeeze, flex, maybe a 2 to 6 second negative, same thing. And we're going to try to get 1 to 3 reps shy of failure, and in between 8 to 12 reps. And that's how the training's going to go for the rest of this program, unless something happens and I get an ache or a pain or something starts hurting me a certain way, then we may have to change a movement out or add a few more sets in or a few more reps or change the rep range or something, because if I have to change it up because something's bothering me, I'm going to change it up. You shouldn't have such a program that's so dogma that you feel like I have to do these reps for these sets with these movements and I can't do anything else. This is it. This is it. If I can't do these, then what am I going to do? No, it's not that serious. Find something that's very similar to what you're already doing. Change it out. Make the adjustment so you can keep training pain-free. Because if it's causing pain, that means there's something wrong and you need to address what's wrong. But in the meantime, change the movement so it doesn't bother you, so you don't get hurt. Just like I changed out squats because it's bothering my knee and my hip, I'm doing leg extensions. You can change it up. Dieting, a little different, depending if you are playing it by ear or if you have a structured diet. If you have a structured diet and it's in a sequence week to week for adjustments, or you have a duration, run it. No matter how you feel, run it. Because you don't know what the outcome is going to be until you get to the end of the road. Run the diet for the way the diet's supposed to be ran. But I'm going to cut this mic off. I'm going to get this workout in. And like every other day, I'm going to go ahead and recap the workout and explain how it went, how I felt, what went wrong, what went right.
So changing up the amount of sets and dropping them down was a really, really good call, because I have to tell you, when I did my back, I had a lot more energy when it came to my top set, which allowed me to squeeze and pull harder and put a lot more effort into that one set, which I got a massive pump on my back, even being depleted and not having a whole lot of carbs and being in a deficit. My back had a phenomenal pump. I know the camera didn't really pick it up. I didn't pose or flex or show it, but man, my back felt amazing. My chest, I haven't felt since I tore my pec, and you guys can see in the video how deformed my right pec is. I've always been afraid to push it. And I don't mean push it like train it. I'll train it, but I really try to keep it from being overly stimulated or strained. So tonight I said, okay, let's just see what happens. And I did the same 2 warm-ups, then a set, then 1 set, 1 warm-up. Sorry, 1 warm-up, 1 set, and then 1 all-out set. And I got such a massive pump in my chest. And I had that feeling that I used to get, like when I used to power lift. And when I got done doing my heavy compound movements like bench press and close grip, then I moved to dumbbell work. That super tight, massive pump of just your skin stretching, and then your muscles are on the verge of like cramping, but it's just because how tight they are and how like stimulated. I haven't had that in such a long time, and I got that tonight, and I gotta tell you, it felt amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this style up with this amount of sets and reps on my upper body, because I feel like this is going to, I'm not going to say this is going to be the game changer, but I think this is the right call for the amount of cardio I'm doing, the amount of food that I'm eating, with how frequently I'm training as well, 6 days a week, cardio twice a day, the massive deficit I'm in. I think this is definitely going to be the right call, and I'm really excited about it, because I'm telling you, like, my workout this is probably the best workout that I've had in the last 2 months, to be completely honest. Probably the best workout I've had. So I'm going to keep it up. Now, as far as it goes for recovery on my sciatic, hip, and everything, I was doing stretches today, and I found a few that I really like, kind of like a yoga pose stretch. So I'm going to probably start incorporating yoga in on Saturdays. But also this weekend, I'm going to take I have a 100-pound bar that I use for deep tissue work, and I'm going to roll out my quads, my IT bands, my hips, my hamstrings. I'm going to do full lower body tissue work, and I have another bar. It's a pipe that weighs 100 pounds. I'm going to put that 100-pound bar in that pipe, and I'm going to use that to roll out my hamstrings and my hips, because that 100-pound bar is not heavy enough to really get my hamstrings deep enough. So I'm going to work on that and see if that kind of helps loosen everything up, along with starting to do yoga on Saturday mornings. I might record some of it and post it. I might not. Just depends on how I feel and everything. So, but overall, today was a pretty good day. The food is getting kind of boring. It's been boring. Food's been really boring. It's kind of one of those things that I try not to think about it. I just get through it. But the one thing I can say about being 25 days in on my diet, I don't feel like I'm missing out no more. Like going out to eat, going out drinking, eating all those fun little foods and snacks throughout the evening, and having all those fun little chips and popcorn and whatever else. I don't feel like I'm missing out. I tell myself, just get through it, just get through it, just get through it. So that's a huge thing that I've noticed. Now, I still get cravings and I still get hungry, don't get me wrong, but like the feel of, like, since I addressed that mentally, and I talked about that a couple of days ago, about I think a lot of the cravings come from the fear of missing out on something. I think that has been a huge eye opener for me, of the mindset of like, look, you're going to get it again. You're going to be able to eat this again. You just, right now, we're taking a break from it to get to where we need to be. So that's had a big effect. Now, that I could just be, for some reason, feeling really good today, and it's offset. Come tomorrow, that might be out the window. But we'll see how it goes. Also, I saw a big improvement in my body tonight with my pump. I could tell my stomach, I could tell my chest. Everything was just looking a little bit more full tonight. Everything was looking a little bit more plump tonight. It just looked overall better tonight. And that's a huge motivator too right there. Whenever you start feeling better about the way you look and your progress, you feel like it's starting to pay off. But every day gets me closer. Some days are easier than others. Some days are harder than others. But every day is one foot in front of the other, and we're just moving forward. No matter how we feel, we just keep on moving forward, and we're going to get there. But I'm going to end the video right here. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all tomorrow.